In this presentation, I will actually be discussing the use of multiple facets of educational psychology in a PE setting. It will actually cover 6 different aspects, uh, from the zone of proximal development, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, the buildup of intrinsic motivation in students through the initial use of positive reinforcement, contingency contract and response costs, emotional regulation, and self-esteem. For any teacher, you actually need to understand the zone of proximal development. In a PE setting, you're going to be using this to actually set a baseline of where your students are and where you feel like they can move on after learning any kinesthetic movement, such as skipping, hopping, to more advanced as throwing and catching. This is really the zone in which students find success, and this is the warranted zone for success. This is where they're going to actually find themselves in really good situations to move on and move forward. Moving forward, any physical educator or anyone that works in health and wellness and fitness should really understand the bodily kinesthetic intelligence. This is a form of intelligence that is labeled as the individual having the capability of using one's body to overcome tasks or obstacles. PE classes should actually be one of the most salient objectives throughout. Defining bodily movements and giving insight and examples on training adaptations can make the impact on a student approach their own health and fitness goals better in the future. Meaning that if you teach a student how to squat, they're not going to later on in life need to learn how to properly squat or follow through with any of those movements. Just giving the students the insight and knowledge they need for their own future is really, really beneficial. In my future classroom, I really want to use the forms of positive reinforcement to raise intrinsic motivation in my students. Giving the students the positive reinforcement tools of praise and attention can actually help them push one another in the efforts of PE. I think that means a lot more to the students knowing that they're accepted by their peers than it is being accepted by a teacher. When done properly, students find success, and I think they feel rewarded from their physically active ventures. This feeling of success, I think, in turn builds the intrinsic motivation of a student, which makes these aspects more and more routine and part of the lifestyle that should be built by any physical educator. It's our job as physical educators to really create students that have a proper outlook on health and wellness and fitness, and understand that it's a part of their lives and something that they always need to be worried or concerned about, I should say. And it should really, really push them forward in setting their own goals and overcoming them. Then finally, we have the emotional regulation and self-esteem slide, which I think teaching students to be more in control of their emotions will give them the tools of emotional regulation. This, in essence, will allow them to be masters of the stressors and the environment in which they're in. More and more people are basing their self-esteem on the way they look. With proper nutritional, informational, and educating students on exercise, you're warranting better health and fitness from your students. In some cases, this will rise self-esteem of students. Not all students are going to feel a rise in self-esteem due to this, but however, I feel like having students that are emotionally capable of regulating their feelings actually gives an impact on the self-esteem and the way that they look at themselves, as not being so negligent of others, and they can actually grasp the way other people feel around them.